Well, guys, I am still snowed in here. Hopefully that will change tomorrow, but it gives me a little bit of extra time to knock out another video, and I did want to get this one out there, and it's reviews of the latest Ring of Honor pay-per-view, their big 15th anniversary event, and the last episode of Impact, which featured the change in management and the new direction for the company that will now be known as Impact Wrestling. So, with that, I guess I'll jump right into the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good show. In particular, I thought the last two matches were really strong. My problems with Ring of Honor nowadays is that, A, their storylines typically aren't that dynamic. They're just kind of like, and I'm not expecting everything to be a big soap opera, I'm not saying that, but it's just that they don't do a whole lot to really make me that interested in the matches. They're more interested in having the matches themselves, which is fine. And they've got a lot of talented guys that try to have the best matches possible. I just wish there was more of a storyline backing for a lot of the matches. Now, the main event to this show, Daniels and Cole, I did think had a really strong storyline going for it. So, also another problem with Ring of Honor is that, they're not the unique product that they used to be. And I was actually having this conversation with my friend Eric today, and he's right, actually. It's like, with New Japan widening their base here in America, NXT buying up a lot of the indie talents, and WWE having a lot of the old Ring of Honor guys on their main shows right now, that style that Ring of Honor really brought to the table that was really cutting edge in the mid-2000s is now seen everywhere. So it's really like they don't have that unique of a presence now in the world of professional wrestling. But in spite of all of those things, I thought the 15th anniversary show was really good. And it's really amazing. This year actually marks the 15th anniversary for both Ring of Honor and what was formerly TNA. Now it's going to be called Impact Wrestling going forward. It's really amazing. Say what you will about both companies and the highs and lows for both. They've lasted. They've survived longer than I would have ever expected, especially TNA. I thought they should have been dead 20 times by now. But it is kind of amazing, and it's good that we have those other options out there. I'm a big proponent of having as many options for the art form as possible, and because I like to enjoy different expressions of the art form. I don't just want what WWE can give me. I want different things, and I enjoy different things. But major congratulations to both companies for overcoming everything and managing to survive up to this point. Going into the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, the first match, I believe it was Jay White versus Kenny King. I thought that match was solid, nice, good opener. And then it was the six-way match for a title shot. It was Kazarian, Chris Sabin, Hangman Page, Punishment Martinez, not Punisher Martinez. I keep wanting to say Punisher Martinez, but it's Punishment. And then it was Silas Young and Cheeseburger who were in this match. This was a fun match. It's the type of match you would expect. Just six guys bouncing around, a bunch of different styles being showcased. Kazarian won, which was fine. The newest member of the Bullet Club. Tee-hee-hee-ha-ha. Then from there, I believe next was Jay Lethal versus Bobby Fish, which they had a solid match. Pretty good. Jay Lethal got the win there, which was good to see, because I feel like he's been losing a lot lately. But, it was good to see Jay get the win. Then I believe it was the six-man titles? Yeah, I think, I'll just go ahead and say it was the six-man title. So it was the Ring of Honor six-man tag team titles. The Kingdom defending against Dalton Castle and the Boys. This match was okay. It's nice to know the Boys can wrestle. I didn't know they could actually, I assume they could, but I've never actually seen them work before. So it's like, all right, the Boys can actually get in there and have a match. That's interesting. But the Kingdom ended up retaining their titles anyway. And then it was the TV title match, Marty Scurll versus Lio Rush. This match was good. Pretty good title match. I felt like it was one of those indie style matches where they tried to do a little too much. It's one of those matches I feel like they could have done half the work and had the crowd twice as excited if they had paced it out better. But overall, a nice effort from both guys and a solid match. Scurll got the win. And actually, a perfect example of what I'm talking about, there was a point in the match where Scurll countered it looked like Lio Rush was going for the lethal combination or something like it. And Scurll kind of caught him and hit the chicken wing. And that was a really cool counter. I was like, man, that probably should have been the finish. And sure enough, he retained with the chicken wing, but much later in the match, and he hit it in a way that was nowhere near as cool. So I'm like, yeah, the having the handspring and then catching him and hitting the chicken wing probably should have been the better way to end the match. But that's just me nitpicking. But overall, I thought the match was solid anyway. Then we got a 6-man tag with Bully Ray and the Briscoes. Bully Ray making his official in-ring debut with Ring of Honor, which is really weird seeing him on the card. Because when I think of like the Ring of Honor type and the Ring of Honor style, I don't think Bully Ray at all. But it was Bully Ray and the Briscoes versus War Machine and Davey Boy Smith Jr. A very odd 3-man team for them to be going up against. But there was some change to the card. Somebody got injured. Vance Archer got hurt, and that affected the card in some way, and they had to make some changes. So that's why we got the match we got. Match was a little awkward, but it kind of got saved by the fact that Bully Ray was in there, and that was kind of a nice thing to see. I like Bully Ray. I think he proved in TNA that he's a good single star, believe it or not. So overall, so that was fun. Then we got the tag team title match, which was like a no-holds-barred street fight, triple threat. The Young Bucks versus Roppongi Vice versus the Broken Hardys, making their Ring of Honor pay-per-view debut as the Broken Hardys. And I before I get into this week's last week's episode of Impact, I'll just say that TNA or Impact Wrestling, Jeff Jarrett, the new management, whatever, they really dropped the ball letting the Hardys go. I would throw Mike Bennett and Maria in there as well. I think losing them is a big, I think that's a huge loss as well. But, I think the Broken Hardys let's be honest, they were the only thing that TNA had that was generating any kind of interest, and they were going around to other federations and other companies and working these matches and working these shows and building potential business relationships with other companies, which could have led to, talent exchanges and various other things to help them out down the road. So there were many benefits to having the Broken Hardys stay with Impact Wrestling, and for whatever reason, it just fell through. And Rebby Sky is going nuts on Twitter. Fuck that owl. What'd you say? Fuck that owl? That's hilarious. But yeah, I think it's a huge loss for TNA, but TNA's loss, ROH's gain, and now they've got the Broken Hardys working matches with the Young Bucks, which I've had my criticisms of the Young Bucks, but if you're going to throw anybody up against the Broken Hardys, I think they're the ones to do it. I think they represent the style that would mesh the best with the Hardys. And most of my criticisms about the Young Bucks reflect on their matches. It has nothing to do with their personality. I think they're very charismatic, and I think they've got a great personality. I just wish their matches would make sense. And this match made sense because it was a total fucking free-for-all, so them bouncing all over the place actually made sense. If they were tagging in and out in this match, I'd be like, that's bullshit. But, it's just, they do well in matches where there are no rules, basically. And I thought all three teams did really well here. Poor Roppongi Vice they seemed to be the recipients of a bunch of hard falls. But the Hardys got the win, and now we have the Hardys versus the Young Bucks to look forward to at the next Super Card of Honor event, WrestleMania weekend. So that will be very interesting. The Hardys are going to be around wrestling on WrestleMania weekend, but not for WrestleMania. That's pretty interesting. And the Bucks and the Hardys, that is a big match for Ring of Honor, and it's cool that they have the stage to provide that match. So hopefully they deliver come Super Card of Honor time, because that's going to be a major selling point of that show. So, I really enjoyed the tag match. I thought it was really strong. It was, it was a lot of plunder, a lot of hardcore stuff and craziness and silliness and over-the-topness, but it was fun and fun to watch, and especially when you've got Broken Matt running around being insane. So, really enjoyable stuff there. And then we got the main event, Christopher Daniels challenging Adam Cole for the Ring of Honor World title, with the storyline built in that Daniels has, he's wrestled for all these years, 25 years or whatever it was, and he's never won a major championship in any of the companies he's ever been to. They had mentioned that his statistics in Ring of Honor World title matches was 0, 8, and 1. The best he had ever done was a 60-minute time limit draw against Bryan Danielson. I don't know whatever happened to Danielson. Who knows where these guys end up, But, I felt like that was a nice story to have going into this. It's like, can Daniels win the big one? And it's really amazing for a guy that's been around as long as he has. You would have thought that Daniels would have won a major world title at some point. You look at TNA and you look at that class, Joe, AJ, and Daniels, Daniels was the only one of those three that didn't win the world title for TNA. Ring of Honor, you look at all the guys that came through and won that title, McGuinness, Danielson, Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, CM Punk, so many other guys. Daniels was not one of those guys. It's really strange, really weird to think about. So they had that storyline built in. He won the Decade of Excellence tournament to earn the title shot. And the finals, great match with Jay Briscoe in the finals. I thought they really killed it. And you had that emotional element heading into this match. And I thought it helped the match out tremendously and made it a worthwhile story and made it a really good match to watch. Great main event. I really enjoyed the match. And it was one of those things. I kept waiting for them to kind of pull the rug out from under Daniels. And it looked like they were going to. Kazarian, who had betrayed Daniels and joined the Bullet Club, turns out that was a ruse. He was with Daniels the whole time. He was just doing it to kind of fuck with Adam Cole and just kind of make him overconfident. Daniels was able to get the win and win the Ring of Honor World title in a very well done climax to the main event. And very cool to say, Daniels got his big celebration. He's the Ring of Honor World Champion. And, it's amazing. He hit the 3 BMEs to get the win, which that was cool to see him use the BME to get the pin, not the Angel's Wings. Because the BME is a really cool move, but I've never seen him beat anybody with it. So it was cool that, he hit 3 of them to secure the victory and the title. Great main event. The ending came out very well for Daniels and was very good. Just a really strong main event. And the last 2 matches in particular I thought were a really nice capstone to a pretty solid pay-per-view. So, Ring of Honor gets a thumbs up from me. Their 15th anniversary show was great. So major congratulations to them for reaching that milestone of 15 years. And they delivered a good show in the process. So, awesome. Now let's talk about Impact Wrestling, the first episode under the new management. Now, I could talk about Alberto El Patron coming in. I could talk about the Schmaz finish with the world title. I could talk about Dutch coming out and Bruce coming out and, where does EC3 fit into everything and the X Division and all these other things. I could talk about all of that, but I really don't want to because I really want to focus on this one aspect of the show that made it just about completely unwatchable. The show was terrible. And the main reason it was terrible was because the commentary was beyond obnoxious. You had Josh Matthews at the booth being his usual self. And not the best commentator in the world, but typically I could tolerate him. But then they brought out JB, and they started shooting and arguing with each other over who the weaker announcer was and what was going on or whatever. And the entire show was just them arguing with each other. The entire show. I was getting like PTSD flashbacks to Cole and Lawler from WrestleMania 27 time. I was like, oh my god, this is the entire show. It's just the 2 announcers yelling at each other. It got so bad, I was like, I hope Pope, D'Angelo Dinero just smacks the shit out of both of them and calls the show himself, because this is just getting annoying. And it's just them yelling, hurling insults at each other, missing calls. Like, they were missing the action that was going on in the ring because they were too busy yelling at each other. And that went on the entire show and made it just about as unwatchable as it could possibly be. Without the mute button on anyway. And completely ruined, it left a sour taste in my mouth for their first big show of their big, new management, new reboot, new time, new name for the company and everything. And that it really was a bad first impression and really left a bad taste in my mouth. Like I said, I keep making comparisons to Cole and Lawler, but really, you just can't have a show built around the announcers arguing with each other because it just gets annoying. The only ones who could pull it off were Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. And the only reason they were able to pull it off is because nothing they said or did took away from the really important stuff. They were always there to make the calls when they needed to make the calls. And their banter was actually hilarious. I'll always remember at WrestleMania 8, I could have you thrown out, Gorilla. I'm Indiana's favorite Bobby. You couldn't hold Bobby Knight's towel, you can't write that stuff. It's just fucking great. And so A, their stuff was funny, and B, it never took away from the stuff that was really, really important. Especially during Ric Flair matches, because Bobby, they had explained that he had a financial investment in Ric Flair, so he was extra super invested in all of Flair's matches. It really added he added through his commentary, and even when he would yell at Monsoon, it came from like a place of legitimate passion. It wasn't just two cardboard cutouts just yelling and shooting at each other the whole time. Everything that they did was motivated by what was going on in the ring. And, that's just not what they have here with JB and Josh Matthews. And it's like, look, I don't care which one they ultimately keep at the booth. I really don't give a shit. Just stop it. Just whatever, please make some changes. If you've got to make changes in post to some of these shows, do it. If you got to redo because I cannot believe people would listen to that show in post-production and go, oh shit, this is horrible, we can't air this. Because it's annoying, and it's abrasive, and horrible, and, that's the type of effect that commentary teams have. They can subtract from good moments, they can elevate really good moments as well, and you want it to be on the positive side of things. You don't want the announcers to be the main reason that people are switching off. And, if I didn't sit through the whole show and I ended up switching off, it would have been because of the commentary, because it was that bad and that annoying. And I would advise Impact Wrestling and the new management to change that ASAP, because that is going to get... It got old for me within 20 minutes. And even faster than that. I was like, are they just going to do this the entire show? They're just going to yell at each other the entire show? Well, fuck. But, so the first episode of Impact Wrestling, not very good. Not very good, and really it was mostly because of the commentary. I could sit here and talk about other things that went on, like them constantly shitting on the last few years of TNA, and how they need to make TNA great again and all that other stuff, but really, it was just, the commentary was just so bad that just killed the whole show on arrival. But we'll see if it gets better. I don't know. As I'm filming this, it is March 14th, and supposedly tomorrow, Lucha Underground's first 2 seasons are supposed to appear on Netflix. So if you haven't seen Lucha Underground, it's going on Netflix. Supposedly tomorrow, it's going to be in my feed. That's for damn sure. I'm probably going to rewatch the first 2 seasons over again, because goddamn, that stuff was fun. But that's pretty much all I have for now. I'll have more WrestleMania-related stuff as we get closer to the big show. It's coming. It's a-coming. WrestleMania 33, which actually, to be perfectly honest, I don't hate the card. There are more matches that I'm interested in on this card than I have been the last 2 WrestleManias. So if that counts for anything, I don't know. But in any case, that is all I have for you now. Hopefully you all enjoy your week. Hopefully those of you stuck in bad weather stay safe. But until then, I will see you all later.